First of all, I'd like to thank the Board of Education for the job they're doing. I know it's very hard and stressful, and I know sometimes I ruffle your feathers a little. My feathers get ruffled lately too, in fact, an awful lot. And I'm going to direct my complaints to the board and to the superintendent, not faulting her because she's brand new. But my feathers first got ruffled when you let the bus driver go. That was a good bus driver, and you did not check into the facts. Those facts were fabricated. I know that for a fact, no matter what they tell you and what they don't tell you. Number two, you laid off a custodian with 22 years of time working here, only because he was last in the seniority list. He begged to go back to a cleaner's position, but you would not allow it. That, to me, is not fair to a 22-year-old employee. Number three, you reduced the mechanic to 4 hours a day, taking his medical benefits away, not making him eligible for unemployment, and caused him a lot of stress and everything, all in the name of money. And I do not feel this is just. Finally, I can't say you let him go, you put an administrator, Mr. Freischlag, on administrative leave for I know what reason, and I think that's ridiculous, the reason, unless I'm incorrect with the reason, and I could be. But we have had a lot of administrators, in my opinion, that have done far worse than he did, and they were never let go. Now, the last thing that really ruffled my feathers is I was invited to an unofficial union meeting at the bus garage last night to input on the proposed contract. They only wanted my advice, and they wanted me to be there, so I showed up. I was told by the secretary that I had to leave the building on orders from Mr. Greg Assett on grounds that I was no longer an employee and I was no longer a member of the union. I find this ridiculous, inappropriate, and unacceptable. We've had many, many meetings where we've had people from outside come to meetings. They're not union members and they're not employees. I was only asked to come there for advice. Now, without further ado, I need to say one more thing. Am I taking too long?
Yeah. If you can just explain your last point very quickly, then that would be fine.
Wait a minute. I have been told by certain people that this proposal to the support staff needs to be passed or there may be more layoffs. To me, this is a scare tactic that should not be used in making people make a wise decision on the proposals that was submitted to them.
Thank you.
When I was the same age as these students, I met an amazing man, Coach Scott Freischlag. Beyond all my craziness, he saw a lot of potential in me, not just as a wrestler, but as a good person. He always taught with patience. He had a sense of controlling and inspiring positive actions in my son, Drew. It was not for his guidance, I don't know where I would be. But thanks to him, and because of him, I now teach. His guidance, teach and coach my students the way he taught me, firm but fair, and I always make sure my students know that I care for them, just like Coach Freischlag did for me. Coach taught me, and so many others, to stick up for what's right. So I am sticking up for him now, because what you're doing is not right. Your act, Superintendent Garrett, and the board send a clear and horribly wrong message to the students of Wayne Central. If a teacher can put in 21 outstanding years of service, both teaching, coaching, and when needed administratively, then be fired or suspended without even following protocol, what are you telling your students? You're telling them that it's not about doing the right thing, it's about knowing the right people and doing what those people say. The Superintendent Garrett and the board, you work for the people, and the people want Coach Freischlag back. And if you're going to give him his job back, we deserve to know why, if you're not going to. You have taken a good man, one of the best to ever step into Wayne Central, and you have smeared his name because he is not afraid to say the truth. Did you? And then you fired him for reasons not related. Coach has always had my back from the first day he met me, and still to this day I keep in contact with Coach. He has helped guide me through my adventure of coaching and beginning a program. He's helped me better my teaching. If I was here, I would have so much more to say. But he's currently coaching his wrestling team that he started when he went to New York City. I will leave you with this, Coach Freischlag is by far one of the most influential people to ever do anything at Wayne, by far better than you can imagine. You have lost a great teacher, and Wayne Central is a sadder, weaker place because of your decisions. And I just want to reiterate that for the future students of this district, it is a true loss to have.
And he would not wrestle unless he just thinks so highly of Mr. Freischlag. I don't know what's going on. I guess I'm the ignorant one here because I don't know what the facts are, but it just doesn't seem to make sense with a man with the record that he has, that he's not coaching our team. He's one of the best, obviously, with the record that our school has at Wayne Central, which I think it stands for itself, of excellent athletes that have come out of our wrestling program and other athletic programs. And I guess my question to the board is, when are we going to know why?
In too much trouble, I had to start over. I didn't really have much of a father figure in my life. And so when I came to Wayne Central, Scott Freischlag took me under his wing. And without him, I would be in a really bad place because, I was really troubled. He brought out the athleticism in me. He brought out a lot of pieces of my personality that I didn't know were there. And I credit him with the success I've had in my life now and the determination that it's taken to get there. And with the complete turnaround that he made in my life, I could rattle off names and ways the rest of this time of guys that he's touched just like that. I want everyone to see the pain that these decisions have caused, not me, but hundreds of other kids, students, alumni, who have been his wrestlers and his students. And in just my 4 years, that doesn't count the 21 years of service, dedication, and commitment that he's made to this district, and to be treated with the disrespect that you guys have done to him, and the disrespect that you've done to all the alumni and all the wrestlers and all the students that he's touched. I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a Facebook page out right now in support of him, and it has close to 1,000 members. And not all of them are just wrestlers. There's people from the community. There's self-proclaimed band geeks. There's people that never even participated in gym class, but he brought it out from them. The man has a gift, and the fact that you guys let him go in such a disheartening manner, it doesn't send a good message. I was planning on moving here, bringing my boys to this district, paying taxes to support your guys' paychecks. I'm not doing that if he's not the wrestling coach. That was the sole reason I was coming here. It's really sad, and it's not a very good example to set for the kids that are coming up through the district. And you're really robbing them of a really, really great opportunity. And I think you should reconsider the decision that
I am wondering, it is my understanding there were 3 groups of individuals, different people, who were involved in the selection process of Ms. Garrett. Am I correct in that? Board members, outside community members, and members within the school. Is this correct? Or am I
That will
supposed
be
to only
answered. Go ahead and ask your questions. We'll take note of those, and then we will provide the answers on our website so everyone can see the answers.
Okay. Well, it's my understanding that yes, these people, this is the way it was. It is also my understanding that it was unanimous with 2 groups of individuals advising against hiring her. However, our board saw fit that that's the way it should be. I also have done much asking throughout the community, everybody who I can, higher ups and working whomever. It is my understanding that the people who are working in this building, they are afraid for their jobs. They will not speak up because they are afraid, as this woman has pointed out. As I walked in tonight, I noticed there's a poster printed on the wall that says bullying is unacceptable. If you are, please contact, and there's a list of names. I would like to know who do these people who work in the system, or we as taxpayers, who do we approach if we feel that people are being bullied by our administration?
Okay, I have 3 questions. First off, I'm sure you can't answer them, but the personnel action, could you please explain what that is? What did you just vote on? Personnel action. I have no idea what you just voted on, so I'd kind of like to know what you just voted on. The second thing is that you just voted on policies. How do we know what you changed? How do we know it's the same? I'm an ISO auditor. We have to mark things and let people know what had been changed, what had been brought up, whatever. How do we know what you changed and how we know what you don't change? You just said that you voted to approve 4,000 through 5,000. Well, what did you approve? I don't know. I can just go up on the website and find it. The third thing is how do you find out who's on the planning committee? I've looked on the website. If it's there, I haven't been able to find it yet. And how do people get on this?
Scott Freischlag, my kids graduated approximately 10 years ago. They still keep in contact with Scott Freischlag. He was at my son's wedding. He called when my son had his first child, and the first thing he said to me was, when he found out it was a boy, he said, well, 2 things got to happen. Joe's got to move back to Wayne, and I got to coach for 18 more years. That's the dedication that man has that you took away from those kids. There's been a lot of people coming in here, patting you on the back, giving you gifts. You should be ashamed. What you took away from this community was horrible.
I just came here to say, while I was not an athlete, I was incredibly lucky to have great teachers. I excelled in music and in writing and in history. We have some teachers who are here tonight who have greatly affected me one way or another. And while I may not have been an athlete, Coach Freischlag was somebody who and young women who may not have had the self-confidence and the love that I may have had at home, or may not have been as lucky or gifted or anything like that. Coach Freischlag gave them something to work towards and to make something of themselves that they didn't think that they could have. And I mean, if you take away one of those teachers, I mean, who's next? Seriously, thank you.
I attended the 3-board meeting a few weeks ago. It was run much the same as tonight. I think I can speak for the people in this room that we are not discrediting, that we have amazing students with academic ability, athletic ability, capabilities to run a business. Let's not forget the real reason that we are all in this room. We need answers, and you, government students, have just witnessed a filibuster.